game, everyone. This is Rich Ramon, and you're listening to Still Toking With. Yeah.
Greetings, my friend. This is the brain of TV's Pinky and the Brain. Yes, and my human avatar, Maurice LaMarche.
Hi, it's Chris Poland, and you're listening to Still Toking With.
Hey, this is Eric Roland, voice of Kendo Rappa on My Hero Academia, and host of the Tough Love Podcast. You're listening to Still Toking With on the Dorkening Podcast Network.
My crew is ready to obtain the absolution, removing any doubt that we were ever fooling.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You are watching Still Toking With. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an awesome show scheduled for you. As always, I'm super excited about this one. Here we go, Benjamin.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. I mean, season 5, we've had so many amazing guests, but I literally grew up watching this guest. And yeah, I'm floored that she even agreed to come out and hang out with us tonight, to be honest with you. But I'm not going to steal any thunder from anybody. So Jeffrey.
Hey, happy Wednesday. Tomorrow's February 1st. Where the fuck did January just go?
That way.
Seriously.
It went that way.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
It's in the show notes somewhere.
Jeffrey the Sasquatch stole it.
Oh, yeah, we blame the Sasquatch for everything.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. The mini Sasquatch.
Mini
Sasquatch, yes.
So, all right, cool. Let's get this going. Most people are going to know her as Nasty Nellie, you know. So let's bring her right in. Alison Arngrim. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi. I was just laughing here. Yes, where the fuck did January go? I don't know.
Right?
I had a birthday and it went like, and now I like woke up and I'm 62 and I was 40 last month. I what happened?
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. I woke up and I was like, wow,
the same thing.
I'm great.
I mean, you were born in 62. I was born in 63. So,
Right. What happened? Where did it go? It is a blur.
You know, well, that's why I squint a lot. You know?
Oh, right.
Isn't there something where like 60 is the new 40?
Oh, I'll go. Yeah. Well, because you know how like people would like, 40 is the new 30 a while back. So yeah, 50 is the new 40, 60 is the new 40, and 40 is the new 30. So just kind of keep it going. And that's I'm you know.
Yeah, totally.
I'm going to agree with that. I have to agree with that.
You know?
Where
are you?
Go for it.
I am in beautiful Tahunga, California, which is, I don't know if you know LA very much. I'm like above Burbank, west of Pasadena. I straddle Burbank and Glendale. That sounds weird, but technically, yes.
Okay. All right, cool. No, I avoid California at all costs. You know, I'm a New Englander. We don't go to California.
True.
Right.
Wicked.
We don't have the clothes to go to California.
Right, because you're all bundled up.
Yeah, it's long sleeves, sweatshirts.
Well, at least this time of year.
And we have the decent lobster roll. So, like, why?
You don't have lobster rolls.
There's no lobster roll. We have like lobster salad sandwich. It's not a lobster roll. You have lobster roll. We have sandwiches.
You import them from us.
Lobster on it. Right. We fake it. Like, and no one in California can make pizza either, by the way. It's like you have to search for actual pizza.
Really?
I order pizza. Most of the places in California, they're obsessed with the toppings. And there's some very fancy things where they'll do interesting things with the toppings. And somebody, okay, I'll eat that. But it's not a pizza. It's like every time I order pizza, I go, can you put extra sauce and cheese in order to get actually some sauce and cheese?
Right.
As opposed to some large bread with really interesting toppings and no sauce.
Wow. So is the pizza out there like thick? Is it thick?
You can get it thin, but usually it's thick and it's very cakey and sweet and there's all these really great toppings, but almost no sauce. But yes, no. So we don't know how to make lobster roller pizza and stuff. It's California.
Okay. They probably use tortilla shells for the crust.
But we have amazing Mexican food. We have great Mexican food. We have fabulous seafood. So it's like you come here, don't even try. Just get the Mexican food or the seafood. You'll be fine.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. So my very first question for you is, what brand of peanut butter?
Oh, Skippy Super Chunk. No question. Literally for breakfast today, I had Skippy Super Chunk.
Okay. All right. Cool.
100%.
All right.
So
Was that on a celery stick or bread?
Celery stick, and then I got crackers as well.
All right. So you will eat it on crackers. Okay.
I read
the
on
whole
bread.
thing
I do.
about
I
you
eat
and
it on
peanut
bread.
butter.
I make peanut butter sandwiches. I eat it on bread, but I do like it on celery sticks, actually.
Okay, but not with jelly, not with anything
I'm
else.
very weird about that. I am.
Yeah, I
not
know you are.
jelly. I'm a purist about that. I have peanut butter or jelly.
Oh, but not together.
No. I don't know. Everybody loves peanut butter and jelly. Why do I not like peanut butter and jelly together? I don't even know. I just don't.
Okay. All right. Well, I was curious. I was reading about it, and I was telling my wife about it. She's like, "Well, find out what brand she likes."
Yes. The Skippy Super Check. It's really, and if you check like all the brands, I mean, I suppose there's very fancy homemade organic brands with like no sugar at all. But if you check a lot of the brands, the Skippy actually has less sugar than for a commercial brand than the others. So you're getting pure nutty goodness, basically.
Okay. Did you ever try Teddy?
No.
Teddy is it's like an organic peanut butter. It's all natural.
Ooh.
It's really good.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm totally going to look for that.
Yeah, it's the kind of peanut butter where before you can use it, you have to actually stir it up.
I was going to say, does that? It's organic because that's the only thing. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Laura Scudder or somebody had a peanut butter, but you had to stir it. That's the only.
Yeah, because the oils will rise to the top. The actual peanut butter
Which
oil.
technically is better for you because it means they don't put all the emulsifiers and weird things that make oil and peanut goo mix.
Right.
Technically, you're not good for you. So.
Okay, I found out what I needed to. I'm done.
See, now I'm so glad we had this breaking news, earth-shattering interview. Yeah. My publicist Harlan sends me this thing. I'm like, still token. Really? What? I looked the guys up and went, okay, they started with this whole thing about the cannabis and that thing. And now, but you've had half my friends on. You had you Anson and Jeremy and everything. I know all these people you had on. So I'm like, fine. Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds
we just try and have fun and fuck with people. That's all.
Yeah, I talked to Harlan on the phone. And he's like, yeah, her agent was like, she can't go on that show. Do you know Little House on the Prairie is so wholesome? And I'm like, time out. He goes, yeah, I already told her.
And you're posing in front of the Olson's Mercantile here. I literally just got the most gorgeous backdrop banner made. A friend of mine, a plug, Olan de la Paz, is painting a bunch of the Little House stuff for our big 50th anniversary union recreations. And I was just at a show, my stand-up thing at the Sierra Madre, and he said, oh, do you want an Olson's Mercantile backdrop? And it looks like that's stunning. You've done a Zoom thing with a photo.
Yes. We use StreamYard, so I can change my backdrop.
Very pretty.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I gotta do something. I have a couple of different ones I can change in between if I get bored. It looks like Leo just bugged out for a second, so that means he got a phone call.
Just 3 little pictures. Yes.
Yeah, he got a phone call. I would assume from the realtor. He's in the process of buying a house.
Cool.
Right? So
stressful but fun.
Right. So you did mention your stand-up, which is, I believe, is based off of your book.
Well, weirdly, the book is based off of the stand-up. I know.
Oh.
It's everybody I know. They go, well, I wrote a book and now I'm going to have a one-woman show to support the book, like tour to support the album.
Right.
I started doing stand-up in one place or another at like 15, 16 years old. So I was all over the country and all over the clubs out here. And then I 40's the new 30. In the 2000s, I went, they had me come to New York and they said, you need a whole bunch of material for New York. You need, it's a club. And they're like, I would do over an hour and a half. I'm like, who does an hour and a half? And I thought, a friend of mine had said, your act is great, but those stories you tell in the bar later are even funnier. And I went, has a point. So I did all true stories. I said, I'm going to do this whole thing, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, and tell all true stories from my life. It was hysterical. And everybody went, yes, we want that. This is what we want. And we did a question and answer segment, which of course everybody loves. So I went, I'm doing this now. And it became a thing. And then people have been saying, when are you going to write a book? Since I was like 16. So I've been like making notes. It's going, that could be a good thing, a little synopsis. And then a literary agent, a really good literary agent, by the way, showed up at my show and said, is there a book to go with this show? And I went, yeah, there could be. How many chapters? He's like, I need 4 chapters. And I'm going, oh, look, I have 4 chapters. And he's like, yeah, no, that's enough. I said, I got a few. He's like, great. And I'd written like the long version of some of the stories. And next thing I know, I'm in publishers' offices in New York and making a deal, and it was lovely. And it was HarperCollins, and then I had to like write the whole thing, which is like months and months. And then there's months of editing. And if you've written a book, and you know, it's a whole like procedure. You're on the phone with like your agent and the head of editing and the art department discussing the particular shade of pink for the book cover. Should it be the 187 or the 188? And you're like, really? I'm seriously having this conversation. So, but it came out and it was great and people loved it. It was a big hit. And now people are like, well, now we want the show. So there's things in the show that are absolutely in the book, and there's some things in the book that are in the show, but there's things in the show that aren't in the book, and there's things in the book that aren't in the show.
So essentially what she's telling you folks is you have to buy the book and then you have to go to the show.
You have to do both. Yes.
You know,
right? You can get the book. The link for the book is in the show notes. I'm assuming
everything. Yep, the link for everything to do with Alison is in the show notes. So her website and everything, so you can see her tour schedules and you know where she's coming to. When Leo pops back on, I do have a picture of the book.
Good.
In
you
the
can
thing,
see the particular shade of pink. We finally decided to go with.
You know, it's funny because I mean, it took us a little over 4 years to write our book. We did the cover for it.
There it is.
I wasn't concerned about no pinks or anything. We just kind of put it together. We self-edited it and put it out there.
Right.
Well, and nowadays that's really used to be self-publishing was like you had to self-publish, but now self-publishing is like a real thing because there's different levels of self-publishing, and there's like small publishers where you're kind of doing part of it and they're doing part of it, and then with Amazon and all the on-demand stuff, self-publishing is now like a thing because you can hire an editor and do this and that. So even if you're not like you're an unsigned band, you can still put out the demo. If you're not with a huge publisher, you can still make it go. And there's people who did self-publishing whose books got picked up later and became wildly successful. So that it's a thing now. When I did, I got a deal. And like audio books weren't the thing when the week my book came out. So like, oh yeah, I guess we'll get around to that. And then now people are recording the audiobook before the books come out. They finished the book, it's gone to like print, and they're rushing off to the studio to record the thing. And that wasn't a thing then. So like several years after the book's like, you want to make a deal for an audiobook? Yeah, I'll do that. And so now there's an audiobook as well. So
yeah, a lot of people listen to audiobooks. Audiobooks are gaining in popularity just like podcasts are.
The year my book came out, it was like we'd had Kindle for a while, but it was starting to cross over right around the time where Kindle was literally now more popular than print. And now it's like of course it is, because you can carry around 600 books in your purse. It's great.
Which I never could understand. I mean, I'm an avid reader, but I like to hold a book.
I do
and
certain
I read
books,
book. I read a book. I don't need 600 fucking books on a Kindle. I'm only going to read one at a time.
There is that. I travel. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, great. So I have the thing. But certain books, I want to hold the book, and then certain books, like autobiography, sometimes if they have like really good pictures, it does not look the same on the Kindle. The pictures don't look
Right.
So it's like, certain books is like, no, I'm gonna need that one in hardcover too. Yeah.
See, I just wait for the movie to come out. It's easier.
Wow.
You knew I was going to say that.
Wow. You
recorded the movies never. Well, they can't. I mean, because if you really made a movie exactly like the book, it would be 17 hours long, the way things are written in a book. And that's why, like, I felt so bad for the people who had to make Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, because you've seen the books and the fans of things like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbits are. It's like Star Trek fans.
I'm one of them.
Obsessed, right? Yep. But it's like, okay. On page 27, they tell this story here, and you can't leave that out of the movie. You leave a character out of that movie. You leave certain things out of the movie. In the book, you'll have a whole segment of fans go, "What? Are you insane? You didn't bring the thing from page 30." And it's that kind of book. And so that's why we have 97 hours of sequels of the Lord of the Rings movies. They had to.
I mean, years ago, they tried and they came out with an animated.
Yes,
and then that was a huge failure. Oh yeah,
it was pretty. It was fun to look at, but I was like, that's not.
It didn't tell the story.
Nope.
Right.
Didn't tell the story.
Yeah. Well, you can't do it in a movie when it's something like that. You have to do a series. You have to do like a limited TV series or something like that.
Really
because
hard.
you're right. 17 hours. I mean, that's 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, there's often I read books and I go, they're making the movie. I'm going, yeah, they're not going to put all this in there.
You know, and in today's world, it's you know, it's kind of funny because you'll have a movie and then a book comes out,
Yes,
or you'll
that's
have a
weird.
book, and you know, normally it's the book and then the movie.
Yeah.
But lately, it's kind of the movie comes out and then there's a book about it.
Or now, then the other one is you do the movie. It used to be you did a play, and then the play became a musical, and then maybe the musical became a movie.
Right.
Now it's the other way
Now
around.
you make a movie, and then you make a Broadway musical about the movie, and then you make a movie of the Broadway musical. It's so confusing. I'm like,
It's called
You know?
called repeating the content for the most bang for the buck.
Right,
ka-ching,
right,
ka-ching,
right, right.
ka-ching,
Well, just
ka-ching.
like in the prairie, they're beating a dead horse.
except we did it like literally on our show. If you wanted to beat a
You
dead
know?
horse, we had actual dead horse. You could, it's
Right?
You know, I mean, we, you know, we released comic books before we released the book, even though
Comic-
they're written as a book.
now there's movies. I mean, I try to go to a lot of things and I'll go, I don't remember, was this a comic book? I don't remember this character with it. It's like, no, the comic book came out after the movie. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
You know, so you never know today. You know what I mean? The thing that bothers me with the whole showbiz thing today is the trying to rekindle things from the 70s and 80s.
Because
And
they
the
don't do
redos
very
and the
well.
redos. It's like, be original, come up with something new.
Right. And then we've had people who there's a huge hotly debated issue, reboot of Little House or no. And there's a group of fans go, please bring it back because they loved it because it was a good show. It's like,
Right.
here's our 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
People are more obsessed with that show now than they were when it was on. I get recognized in the street more now than I did when the thing was on. I get
Well, it's
more
'cause you wore
mail
a wig.
now. Yeah, I was wearing a wig because they tried curling my hair. I just said, my hair's not curly. No. And so they tried curl. I was, 12 years old and sleeping in curlers and coming in at 4 a.m. And they said, maybe we should just get a wig. And it looked great. It stayed curled during mud fights, going down hills in wheelchairs. It looked perfect, but it hurt like all get out. It was
It made your
extraordinarily.
head bleed from what I was reading.
Yeah, well, because there's a big metal comb, which you have
Yep.
to make it stay on. So I'm like, I'm surprised for 7 years. And they just jam that sucker in there. And then there's, I don't know how
No
many.
wonder your
pins.
eyes were always wide open.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa. And then all the pins, and it's on, and that thing hurts. And what happens is over the course of the day, you move and you yank and you're rolling around on the ground or whatever weird thing I was doing, and it pulls on it. So those little hairpins are kind of stabbing you all over the head, and you're like not really noticing. And then you take it off at the end, then you go, man, my scalp really hurts today. And Gladys, the hairdresser, was so sweet. And she had like all that antiseptic stuff, sea breeze, and she would like massage my scalp. And I'd be like, yeah, that wig was really well, that's not good. Like I cut up my scalp. I was like, so yeah, it was kind of brutal, but it looked fabulous. So people, they go, oh, I want the show back. And it's like, wouldn't really be the same. And they said, well, how would we do it? And I was like, well, obviously we're all not going to be in it. We're not going to play it unless it would be set in 1924 because the show we're doing like 100 years, 1924. So Paul Ingalls and everybody would be dead. It's like, it's all a mess.
Right.
And I said, of course, if you recast it, then I am old enough now to play Mrs. Olsen. I would do it, but it'd be hilarious. I would love that. But they said no. And then the reboot, as we know, people screw it up. So you also have another group of fans like, don't you dare do a reboot of that show because we know you will screw the whole thing up and we will go insane. And there's been attempts. The guy who does still have all the rights to that, he kind of wants to do a feature film or like an extended big fancy cable miniseries, something like that. He's, understandably, so I was like, no, why can't I can't have a feature? Why not? Why not? We haven't done that yet. So he's been trying that. And it's been keeps getting attempted. Keeps like every few years we get an announcement. This is the one, and then it's like, well, we couldn't do that. So it's been going on for years. I don't know what they're going to do. And the problem is that when you run into the studio, you do have the people go, well, hey, can we make it like about a guy and his bear who live on the prairie? And does Laura have to be named Laura?
It's not Grizzly Adams.
Right. And they just like go, woo! Like
if they're going to do something, let's just kick it into the future and do Little House on Mars.
Well, I met a guy from Sri Lanka because it's in the show's like all over the world. It's like 140 countries. It's absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah.
So I met this guy from Sri Lanka and he lived in this tiny village and they had like electricity for 6 hours a day and they used it to watch Little House on the Prairie. It was completely bonkers. And I said, what American shows did you get? He goes, well, we were really confused because the only American shows we got at that time were Little House on the Prairie and Lost in Space. So we were deeply confused about America. Like, what time do you people live in? I don't know. Yes, Little House in Space. A lot of Star Trek people are big fans of Little House. Shatner, big Little House fan. His grandkids watch it. Jerry Ryan, 7 of 9. Big Little House fan. We all were on the internet and various things going, wait, you watch Little House? I love Little House. They're all talking to each other. So yeah, so you could do a whole Little House in Space thing. I don't know. That's about how wacky we get. But what's the old joke? How many network executives does it take to screw in a light bulb? And the answer is, does it have to be a light bulb? It's
right.
They will change, and so that's why a lot of people are like, no, please don't do the reboot because you screw it up. So if somehow, like the guy who has the rights, find someone who will not screw it up, we could conceivably have a movie or another series. But that's a tough thing to. Luckily, a lot of us from the original show are remarkably still alive. I don't know how, but we are. And it's the 50th. So we're like, okay, what can we do? What can we do? There's a lot of place booking. It's like the real Walnut Grove in Minnesota. They have a little pageant-y thing every year, and they did a nice thing for our 40th. They're having a huge thing for our 50th in Walnut Grove, and that's in July. But in Simi Valley, which is where we shot the outdoor scenes. Well, that house, the Olson's Mercantile behind you, that was in those trees. That would be Simi Valley, California, where okay, they didn't have roofs on them. They were facades. There was nothing in there. It's just
right.
But the outdoors,
it was like 100 fucking degrees too.
Oh my God. And I'm in 5 layers of petticoats and a freaking wig. I was like, unbelievable. So we would be at Paramount and we'd shoot the indoor scenes and they'd go, hey, everybody, it's Thursday. We're going to see me. And I'd be like, oh God, do we have to? And they'd say, oh, it rained. We have to go back to this. Yes, God. It was insanely hot. And we were all like fainting and passing. It was really hard. Because we were dressed like it was 1800s and it was California. Right. And like in Minnesota, which is a bit cooler. And it was California and it was 110 degrees. But it was absolutely bonkers. So what we're doing is we're going back to where we actually filmed it. And there's a big community center near there. We're going to have a big autograph show. We got recreations of the sets. They're going to have the little house in the church. And I think part of the mercantile, actually rebuilt. So you can climb up on it. And then they're doing facades, but 3D painted facades are going to trip you out of the house in the mercantile. So you get on a bus and you go up, and this is where we shot. And you go, oh my God, holy crap! It's the house is there. And then we're going to have the number of cast members who I didn't go to anything. Oh, I'm coming to this. I'm getting on a plane. They're coming, and there's going to be a ton of us and signing autographs and swag and whatnot and taking pictures. It's going to be quite fun.
I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. 50th anniversary. And I mean, we have people in the chat still talking. They still watch the reruns. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those shows. I mean, there hasn't been very many shows on television that can actually say that they withstood the test of time.
Well, there's shows that were on the same time that were enormously popular in the 70s. And they were very good. They won Emmys. And they were a big deal. It's like, where did crickets? They're not on a DVD. They're not streaming. And it's like, where did they go exactly? You go on Facebook and you just Little House, and the number of there's the official fan site, there's the Little House fan site, and then there's the cast reunion fan site, and then there's the upcoming Little House fan event fan site. You go to these pages and they have 100,000 members, 80,000 members, 200,000 members. There's millions of people logging on to these pages to find out where we're going to be next. Yep. I have a newsletter. I have the Nellie newsletter. We're at 6,000 people. It's a teeny little newsletter because it's just bananas out there. It's bananas. Oh, yeah. So we're having Prairie Woodstock this year.
Now, has anybody ever looked into the possibility of a movie?
With
a
us,
Little House on the Prairie movie,
right? Well, that's
instead of recreating it, just do a movie.
Well, that's where the folks who have the rights are like, hey, we want a movie. We want a big old blockbuster movie, and you could do. That's the thing Laura wrote a lot of books. She wrote these books, Little House in the Big Woods, Little House in the Prairie, Little House in Farmer, blah, 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 and it goes from when she's 4 to when she's married with a child. So it's a lot of material. And there's people who say, well, we can make the movie about when they first have just left the big woods, but they're not even in Walnut Grove. There is no Nellie or Miss Beadle. They're out in the covered wagon, or they're in the woods. Or we could make a movie about Almanzo and Laura and baby Rose or when they're old and they're living in Missouri and she goes, hey, I think I'll write a book. it's all there.
Right.
And so you could literally make a movie about any section of her life, and it would be like pretty good. It's like pick a chapter. But it's doing, and that's what they've been talking about, that yes, that's what they love to do is feature film, but it is difficult. It's, especially, I mean, we just went through a phase where everything that was green lighted or made apparently involved a superhero, an existing comic book, a made up comic book, a soon to be made up comic book. And if it didn't fly or blow up or turn into a car, stuff wouldn't get made. Now that seems to be settling down. Like we're going to the next phase of thing we're going to make 9,000 movies exactly the same about. But so it's difficult with that to get Little House on the Prairie in.
Right, but the fan base is there. The thing is the fan base is there.
So my God, yes.
And if it's done properly, it would be a huge success. I
think. Yeah. If they made it right, this is like hear me nose. If they made it right, you'd pack the place. And then if you made a series, it would absolutely be a smash hit. People are just gaga. Like the number of people are showing up for even like small events. It's thousands of people. Like I said, I just did this thing doing my show, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, at the Sierra Madre Place, lovely place, lovely 99 seat theater. We booked like 7 shows. They were all sold out. There wasn't. My friends were calling me, going, "I can't get a seat." I wait. Oh, I'll come see Alison on Sunday. There's no seats. I'm like, there's no seats. Things are selling out. We have events in like April and May and June and all the way to November. And there's a couple of events that are in like June and August where they have like a cast dinner or cast present. It's this whole thing. Gravel Road. You can go to the whole, like along the Gravel Road, and they have a whole site with all these events they're producing. It's like one whole arm of the Prairie Machine. And there's events where like, oh, we have breakfast with the cast dinner. It's already sold out. It's in August, but like Simi Valley, like the bus tours, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do, add more buses. The bus seats sold out. The VIP super grand foo package, whatever, with all the bells and whistles, where we said, oh no, who's going to buy that? They're gone.
Oh yeah.
Things are selling out. We're booked through never, and we have events that are sold out. What is happening? So yeah, no, it's still bizarrely popular.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And very rare.
So, but I'm just gonna say this right now. So to all Alison's friends, you have to call her a year in advance if you want the tickets. Okay.
Hey, we had a preview night. It was like free, and I invited a bunch of people. So if you didn't get in on that, I didn't tell you. I sent out notice, saved the date, I had emails, was on my Facebook page.
There's only so much I can do.
Subscribe.
Right. Now they're like, can you play a bigger theater? Well, that actually may be happening because they're calling me.
Subscribe to her newsletter.
Right. That's what my husband always said. Did you read the newsletter? Did you read the newsletter? Like, she's not reading the newsletter.
I sent out an email blast, folks. I don't know what to tell you.
What do you do?
Spam.
and some of our like big reunion parties were like, dude, it was on TV. It was on the radio. It was like Melissa Gilbert went on Good Morning America. Who do you want us to tell?
Right. Wow.
Oh, welcome back, Leo. I didn't even notice you were back.
I apologize for that.
Did you get your phone call?
Apparently, I just bought a house.
Yay!
Congrats. Now fix the cameras because you got me all screwed up here.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not going to come help you pack.
Where did you buy it? Where do you have a house now?
Gales Ferry, Connecticut.
Oh, I bet it's nice. That's probably. I've been to Sharon, Connecticut. I bet that's nice. But yeah, it's I have a house. Look, you can see part of it.
I have a house too. It's behind there.
Yeah, right. But that was the thing. Kid actor. My parents actually didn't steal my money. I know, really unusual, very weird. They had jobs, and
I was going to say that
they actually were gainfully employed on their own.
Yeah, because your dad was a Hollywood manager.
Yes.
And your mom was a very famous voice actor.
Yes,
I mean,
Casper.
like when I read that, I was like, "Oh my God!"
Casper's behind me. Do I have a Casper back here? I have Casper's back here.
Well, not just Casper, but all
Gumby.
Like Gumby.
Everybody.
David
my mother was the weirdest assortment of cartoons. My mother was Casper the Friendly Ghost, Gumby, Sweet Polly, purebred, Underdog's girlfriend, and Davy of Davy and Goliath.
Like
Yeah.
4 biggest ones that we
Wait.
all grew up watching.
Yeah.
Are you old enough to remember the First Family album? Are you old enough to remember Vaughn Meter and the First Family with all about the Kennedys and they had the weird cover? They're really like
That I
standing in
don't
Central Park,
remember.
but it's like photoshopped badly with the White House. My mother was Caroline and John on that. It was so like she's like been everybody, but Gumby and Casper, and then of course they had Gumby and Pokey, and then Prickle and Goo. So she's Goo. Gumby's mom, Gumby's sister, Davy's mom, Davy's sister, all of Davy's friends. She's Casper, and then she's also Nightmare and Wendy and Spooky.
Wow.
They did an album. There's a Casper album, and you can get it online now. There's a Casper from like 1963, and it's this insane musical of all the Casper characters, like a cast of thousands. And it's my mother and a guy, just 2 people, one guy and my mom in a studio pretending to be all of these different characters, and it's very weird. I highly recommend it.
That's awesome. I mean, I got I grew up in a summer place up in Maine where there's no electricity, nothing. You bathe in the lake, shit in an outhouse, kind of a thing. And we used to listen to the old radio stories, like the Fibber McGee and Molly and stuff like that. They were, I don't know if you remember that stuff. Do you remember that stuff? There was the Phantom. And,
well, weirdly, I started hanging out with these people. There's a thing called SPURDVAC, and it's all about preservation of comedy and variety old radio shows. It's really nerdy. But there's a lot of actors who got involved with it, doing a lot of voiceover people. And I got invited to it, and because apparently I do a good Gracie Allen. And next thing I know, I'm at these events, and we've done some online where we've recreated a lot of those shows, all the George and Gracie stuff, the Jack Benny show, all of those hysterical. It's like, George, you shouldn't get so upset, George. I don't know why you're so mad at Jack. And we would just do all these redo all these shows. So weirdly, yes, I do. And my parents were way into that. In fact, my parents at one time were in radio in the 50s before they, went into, they did theater and they did radio before there was a TV to go beyond. But yeah.
No, I mean, I remember that stuff vividly because we had no TV, and it was all that radio stuff.
You were Little House on the Prairie. You
were. Yeah, but it was on a lake.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the shores of Silver Lake. See, there's a book to go with that. Laura has an answer for.
Laura has an answer for everything. And that's why Nellie was always mean to her.
That's how I get introduced to a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Seriously, that's how I get introduced to all that kind of stuff.
Old radio shows are awesome. We did the Shadow. We did the Shadow News.
The Shadow.
Yeah. And it was all cool. People was like Phil Proctor from Firesign Theater. And all sorts of like really odd combination of comedians and actors and voiceover people all meeting at this hotel going, and now we're going to do Fibber McGee. Let's do the Jack Benny show. And it was awesome.
Yep. I have all the cassettes. I got to find a new cassette player because mine shit the bed, but I have all of those tapes.
Someone just brought me a bunch of 8 tracks to my show. We were talking about like old comedy, and they brought me 8 tracks. I now got to go find an 8-track player. So
good luck with that. You'll have to go to an antique
I got
shop.
Cassette, I got turntable, I got vinyl, I got cassette, I got CD. I have but I do not have 8-track. But my husband said, "I'm so getting you an 8-track." But no, that's happening. We're done. We're getting one. Absolutely. I'm into it. So.
I mean, it's funny. The younger generation really doesn't understand. But even bands like Foreigner, their first release was on 8-track.
I loved 8-track.
Yeah,
I had a car with an 8-track.
Same here. Yeah,
chunk that thing.
Yeah, because I remember Cold as Ice it had that pause because it had to go to the next track.
Yes.
Kids today don't understand that.
Kids today, we sound like we're 100 now. We're Martha. Where's the 8-track?
I remember when I had to walk uphill both ways. Yep.
With no shoes.
You know what I mean? No,
I had
one
to get
shoe.
up to change the channel on the television. Oh,
right.
True.
We only had 8 channels on the TV.
We got one of the first TVs with like a remote in the late 70s, and we're like, we're fancy. And except the remote control was not as it is now. It was a very primitive device. It wasn't like a thing that cable. What cable? There was no cable, so you didn't have like the cable. I remember when Channel Z. We were so excited. We had a box. It had a cord that attached to the television, but that was remote. It was a box with all these numbers and a cord. That was Channel Z. They ran whole movies. That commercial was, oh my God. But we had an early TV that had a remote, and it was a big, like silver, large, boxy thing with like just 4 buttons, up, down, volume, clunk, clunk, and it went clunk. It was a primitive device. The way it worked was it literally was a piece of metal that just kind of moved. And in the TV, it picked up on the clang or the spark or whatever the heck it did. So if you shook anything metal at it, you're sitting in front of the TV, but we had TV with metal TV trays. If you dropped your fork on your metal TV tray, change the channel. And I had a charm bracelet, and we all thought this was the funniest thing in the world. I go, ding, 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 ding. Oh, there, channel 4. We're back. Okay, want to turn up the volume? Hold on. Ding, 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 ding. Let me do my earrings. We could turn the TV off and on and change the channels with either a metal charm bracelet or throwing a fork at a TV tray, which you can't do that. You can't do that now. So yes, I'm old enough to remember very primitive. Primitive.
That's like the first video game I ever played was a film that was static, and it would static electricity stick to the TV screen.
Oh.
And you could change from Pong to racing a little car around the track.
This was again, people paid money to go bonk, 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 bonk.
Yep.
That's it. That's all it did.
Oh, and it's coming back. They just released. They re-released the Atari.
But have they made a movie about it yet? That's
no. But I see one in the signing.
There'll be a 3-picture sequel deal. Yes,
there's 4 people on the screen. We all get 25%.
Yes, that's it.
There was a Tetris movie though.
There was a Tetris movie, yes.
Yeah, that was really good. It was like espionage, like like with the Russian government, trying to like stop the sale. It was
okay. So Pong, you have the game, but it's a tennis championship, and then there's a tennis thing, and there's an online component, and then the Russians are hacking in to the thing to screw up the score of the tennis championship. Okay, how much are we getting? How much?
They steal the ball. Is what they do.
It's 25% all the way around.
Pong the movie. We're doing this.
Right? Pong the movie. We're going to get you people to go to the theater for an hour and just go doink, doink, doink.
That's what I felt like when I saw Blair Witch Project. Is that like the dumbest thing?
I was
so
scared
frightening. I laughed so hard. I saw Blair Witch Project. It was supposed to be the scariest movie.
To me, it wasn't scary.
It was, it was not scary. I laughed my ass off. It was supposed the found video, and no, it's not found video. These are clearly actors, but it was supposed to be found this video, and these people died horribly, and this is their last tape before they spooky. So you're like, okay, well that's the prayer. I'll go with that. Almost all of it was just pitch darkness. It's their camera. So there's like 10 minutes. It's just the screen is black, and I could not say it was the funniest movie I ever saw.
No. Now, do you like horror movies?
Oh, I do. If they're good. I'm old school. I was brought up with Frankenstein and the Wolf Man, and the Mummy and Dracula, Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff and
Henry Hull,
Vincent Price, and the Hammer films. Really over the top stuff, but things also with like a plot and things. I like things that are weird, thrillery, spooky stuff. If it's just and I love Freddy Krueger, very nice man, but just like, and now we stab them again. I don't feel there's enough going on there. I need more context.
Right.
Okay. Now, as far as the newer stuff that's been coming out,
there's some good, weird, creepy stuff. Yeah.
There's a lot of good, weird, creepy stuff. I mean, back in the 80s, you have your classics, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, of course.
Nightmare on Elm Street was sort of interesting, and then but they tended to be the same, and they kind of were like, so they called them slasher porn because it was kind of like you sit there and watch, and it's like, when does the sex start? When does somebody stab someone? It was
when you're 14, 15, or 16-year-old guy, you watch those things because you want to see the titty shot.
There's girls going, oh no, my blouse fell off. Yeah, because
ew, I tripped in the woods.
Right?
I talked about that in the 80s. I would audition for things. So I was in my early 20s. Used to say I had to be either a cheerleader, naked, or dead, or a combination of all three. Those were the roles in like 1982.
Right.
Now, what do you think about the like the psychological thrillers, like the Insidious movies and
God, I
stuff
haven't
like
seen some of
that?
these. Did you ever see what was a great one I saw? And a lot of my friends were totally grossed out. And I was like, "What? No, that was great." There was a movie sometime about Event Horizon, and my husband, I liked it because he likes sci-fi.
Yeah,
And I like
that's a
horror.
sci-fi horror. Yep, that's a
Right.
sci-fi
He likes
horror.
sci-fi, and he's like, "I don't really like horror. I like sci-fi." I go, "Oh, I like horror." And then we started watching this and went, "Oh, it's a cake, it's a candy, it's sci-fi, it's horror. It's great." It was kind of like Amityville horror in space. It was fabulous. And
All right.
I like
Now,
that one very much. I
now what
like
about like the Alien and Aliens?
Oh yeah, those are great. I
Yeah.
like I love the alien movies.
You know,
are great.
that great story, very visual, fantastic.
Yeah.
You know
They
what I mean?
put
And
some
I
work
and
in.
I
They put
I
some work
always
into it.
I always promote Sean Burkett. We had him on our show.
Yeah.
His latest release was Stranded.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
But
it was good.
yeah, it was really good. It's a Bigfoot movie.
Yeah.
But before that, he did.
There's enough good Bigfoot movies.
Oh yeah, no, this one was good. I love Bigfoot movies.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
saw a
some of them
really
are corny
weird,
as hell.
dumb Bigfoot movie, and it was weird because we looked it up on the internet, and it said it was one of the top 10 greatest Bigfoot movies ever made. And then I went, "Wait, how many Bigfoot movies are there?" So I guess that's why they.
You know, there's a lot. Actually, there's a lot of Bigfoot movies. Some are
There should
really
be more.
bad.
There should be
Some
more
are really
Bigfoot
bad.
movies.
Some are really good. You know what I mean? But Sean was involved in a movie called Don't Fuck in the Woods.
Brilliant, because that is kind of the plot of most horror movies with the cheerleaders
Yes.
and the kids at camp. Essentially, that is the point of most of
You know,
those horror
it
films.
is
That
a
actually
horror
works.
comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just brilliantly done. I love the whole storyline. You know, it's a creature who hates the smell of sex.
It's Bigfoot these days. Okay, you see now I can go get this online, right? I can go watch this. Is
Oh yeah, you go. It's on.
Oh my
Tubi.
god, yes. Okay, good.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
I'm just gonna say right now to Harlan and to Allison's agent, sorry. It was supposed to be a wholesome show.
Well, now you've got people asking questions. I'm seeing endless blurbs. Do you have people asking? Should we answer one? Is there anybody who's blurbing has like a question? They're like dying to know.
questions.
I
It
It's
was all
whether or not it's a
comments.
It's a lot of
legitimate question.
it's a lot of comments.
Good. See, they're
lot of
very
good
involved
comments.
in this whole Prairie Madness thing.
Yeah, my older
You
sisters
know.
took lessons from you. Somebody said,
Ooh, yikes!
Yikes.
You're awful people. Oh, how awful!
Took lessons from you.
Oh, someone
Event
said, "Oh my
Horizon.
God, Event Horizon was awesome." Yes.
Yes.
right? Yeah, so there's a lot of comments, and that's why you'll see him just Leo puts them up
Cool.
quick.
That's good. They're
Yeah,
involved.
we like
They're
it. We
involved. I
like it when
that.
our viewers get involved. You know, so for you, all you watching, if you do have a question, you know the deal, man. Put it in the chat. Leo might see it. If not,
I'm right
I
here.
might see it. We'll get it up, maybe.
So
There's a plug in the podcast. So I have a thing, the Alison Arngrim show, where I interview various celebrities. Really fun. But now there's the 50 for 50 for the 50th anniversary, 50 shows for 50 years. Me and Dean Butler, who was the adorable Al Manzo, Laura's husband on the show, and a marvelous woman named Pamela Bob from New York, who's very, very, very funny. And she wrote a web series called Living on a Prairie, which is hysterical if you have not seen it. It's about a woman who's obsessed with Little House on the Prairie. I play her therapist.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's a riot. And the three of us do this thing, and we're interviewing people. We're like experts on Laura Ingalls, people from the show, just
Did
everything.
Bon Jovi have an issue with that name?
50 for 50?
No, Living on a Prairie.
Living on a Prairie. You're right. There you go. Well, it's Living on a Prairie. It's spelled, Prairie. So
I was just curious because he can be like
I don't
that.
know.
You
He's
living on a
invited. He
prairie,
could come,
living on a
be in
prairie,
it. I think she would
you
have
know?
him. But it was awesome. So we're doing a whole podcast now. Me and Dean Butler, and you can catch us. We're all over the place, 50 for a day. And we're great fun. And we're starting to answer people's questions. We've been getting so many. We're going to take
So where I know, I mean, I believe I have that link in the show notes. But where can people find that show?
We're doing it out of UBN Go, and it's everywhere. It's on YouTube and all the fine podcast services near you, Apple, whatnot. Yeah.
So it's strictly podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's video when we do it. So if it's a like YouTube or on the platforms where you can see us, you'll see us, and if not, you'll hear us, and we're hilarious.
So I was reading that you're actually a big wuss.
Compared to Nellie, kind of, yeah. I mean,
I
was really shy as a kid.
Who's afraid of moths?
God, yes, moths. Yeah, they creep me out. They're weird. I know. Someone said, but aren't they just like butterflies that they're from caterpillars come out at night? And I go, yeah, but they're weird. Like if there's a moth at night and you go to like swat and like this weird dust. What is the thing that comes off of them? Butterflies don't do that. They don't shed like weird crap when you go to swat them. It's like ew. Moths are weird.
No,
and then if you have moths,
they're nothing more than a fluffy butterfly.
They're fluffy, but if they're the right kind, they're eating holes in your clothes while you're going, oh look, a moth. Then you go in the closet and your good wool suit is like ruined, and it's like
do you ever see a lunar moth?
Oh, those are the ones. Don't they like kind of almost glow?
They're
like huge. Yeah, jump out a window probably.
I hit one when I was driving to Maine one day. I had to pull over to clean my windshield. It was like a bird splatter.
Are you sure it wasn't the Mothman?
Yeah, I would jump out a window. I would just, I'm not afraid of spiders. I'm not afraid of snakes. I'm not even afraid of mice. I'm not even afraid of rats, which is really weird. I've been in situations where it's like, oh, look, a rat. And everyone is just like up a tree and on the chair. And I'm like, but moths, God, I can't deal with moths.
Fluffy butterflies.
Fluffy butterflies. Ew.
Oh, my.
Wow. I started reading all this stuff. I'm like, wow, this chick's fucked up.
Well, as I like to say, I am a classical, what do they call it? A screwed up ex-child star, but one of the few who has not been to Betty Ford or shot my dealer or posed for Playboy.
Well, I wanted to bring that up a little bit.
You don't see people from Little House on the Prairie on TMZ. Do you see us on TMZ with like no pants? No.
But I mean, as a child star back in the the 70s, I think it was quite different than the trouble that a lot of these kids had in the 80s and 90s.
I mean, there was the drugs and the insanity and the parents stealing the money and the people trying to have sex with child stars. There was all sorts of like weird crap, but you also every single thing was not on Instagram or the internet or Snapchat while it was happening. Melissa Gilbert and I have joked about that. Oh, thank God there was no internet when we were teenagers. Like the things that you didn't get to see all over the internet. Thank heavens. Also, when being old, I remember we had the National Enquirer. That was the big deal. We didn't have TMZ. The National Enquirer. And you do kind of like, oh crap, try to stay out of the Enquirer. Or if you're in the Enquirer, get a nice positive story. Here's Alison in a bikini or something cute. But try to avoid the Enquirer caught you doing fill in the blank. But if they did, you had days because what was it? The magazine was like put to bed, as they said, on Thursday night and like came out on Sunday. So you had several days. If you got caught falling down a bar Saturday night, you had until the next Thursday for your publicist to talk them into pulling that story and not running it. Whereas now you fall down outside the bar and TMZ is there with someone has a phone and it's immediate. It is a video. So it is much more difficult. And then the internet too, they'll pick a weird topic. It's like, pick a topic, discuss, and they'll pick like a really weird random suddenly it's like, well, I heard that so-and-so doesn't like oranges. They're like, what is going on? And suddenly it's like, that's like a huge thing. And everyone is actually talking about that. And you're like, does that person actually not like oranges? We don't even know. But it's like a giant nationwide debate on the internet. And you're kind of like, how was that a thing? So that's sort of a thing that happens now, which that wasn't a thing. They read the Enquirer and then the next week somebody else fell down and they read that in the Enquirer and got on with their lives. So we're very, very lucky for that. But yeah, it was, I mean, I know a lot of people my age where they left home with a shirt on their back and they'd worked since they were 2. It's like, what? It's like insult to injury, kind of. It's like, and it's terrible. It's one thing like, okay, I was 12 when Little House started. Yes, I'd started working when I was 5, 6 years old, but I liked, by the time I was 12, I at least had, as they say, agency. Like I could say, yes, I enjoy acting and being on the show. I'm in junior high. I am like, almost a teenage person. And I can say this sucks or this doesn't suck. And yes, I want to be here. By 14, I was like, yes, I enjoy doing this for sure. But people are like 6. They're in a series. How did you decide? What, you signed a contract? Really? I mean, that's the thing. How do you sign a contract with a 2-year-old? How is this binding? Get out of here.
Right.
And so the 6-year-old didn't really say, yes, I would like to have a large multinational film career. Didn't know. Some
No,
parents,
they
some parents are
don't know.
great.
They know Legos.
Did Legos. I went to the set and there were some nice people and I had lunch. They had a lunch. It was lovely and there were cookies. They don't know what the hell's going on.
I colored my coloring book and
I
I was
colored and then
happy, so I want to do that.
And then the nice man came over and I stood in front of the camera thingy and he said, "Can you say these words to this guy and pretend he's your dad? Hey, Dad, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that was great. Thank you." And then I went home and so you're really little. It's like, what the heck? It's older children, teenagers can say, "Oh, okay, I know." But some people started that young. And some people really didn't want to. Some of them, I mean, I saw them at auditions where they were like dragged, kicking and screaming. And there was some weird stage parent going, shut up here. It's like literally throwing them in the car. I don't want to do this. Get in the car. Ugh. So you have someone like that. And they think, well, at least there's got to be money. And some parents, they do. They put the money away for the child's college. They put the money into something for the kid. They did it, or they give them the money. And other parents, they will bend over backwards and circumvent. There's existing laws. There's laws. They will go like forward and underneath to get around the laws and steal all of the child's money. It's like, why? Why would you do that? And they do. And so then the person's like 18. It's like, well, that was a nightmare. Well, at least how much do I got? Nothing. What? Horrible. It's just insult to injury. So
you're a huge advocate for that too. From what I was reading, you're an advocate for that whole child stuff.
Yeah. I've done a lot of stuff for that. I've gone to Sacramento and everything about this. Like, come on, guys, what are you doing? And there's a lot of people that had that. Now, in my case,
should be against the law, actually.
Right, and it sort of is, but we had to keep like going back and going. Could you change the law again? Because they found a way to get around that one, and then so they kept like moving the goalposts. We had to go back and go, and then some states don't even. It's like, so I had a trust fund. Thank God. In fact, I talk about it in the book that Jess, who worked my dad manager, my account had gotten to a certain amount and it only was getting interest on this part to a certain point. So he got like a court order to like open a second account and roll it over so I would actually get more interest. And I laughed and I said, he will go down in history as the only man to break into a child actor's bank account to put more money in.
Right.
No one has ever done this. And so I had a good trust fund, and my parents, because they were actors, they were like, "Oh, you got a job. I guess you're getting paid." And this was like normal. I had a checking account at 13. My dad co-signed the checks, but they were like, "Okay, this was taxes, and this was this, and this was your agent, and this was this, and well, you had to pay for those photos you took last week. Yeah, we had to pay the photographer and the makeup girl. Okay. But here's how much you're getting. Here's a check." And so I paid for my own orthodontics. I bought a bicycle. I bought a car when I was 16. And then I got the trust fund when I was 18. I actually bought a condominium. I owned a home at 18, and I've managed to own a place in this place. So it was great. And they made me learn about taxes. I didn't want to. I was 12, but they made me go. So get in the car. And we went to the accountant. Very nice man, but it was boring. It was really boring. And they made me sit there while they went over my tax return. They'd like, wake up. So you had this many deductions and you made this much money, and there's not a lot of deductions for 12-year-olds. Luckily, the payment to your agent is tax deductible. Woohoo! So we can count this. And I would get money back, and they would explain how this worked and how much came out of my check. And I was like, why? Well, of course, as an adult, I'm not a CPA or anything, but I have some concept of what's supposed to happen with my money and taxes. And I have some idea what happens when you take out a mortgage, for example, and buy a house. And I have friends who are, they're literally my age, and they still don't know this stuff.
That should be taught in schools. It should be a mandatory course in schools.
Just even, even just like a week-long workshop, anything,
something, because everybody's just thrown to the wolves when it comes to that kind of
right. You turn 18, they're like, and now you will magically know these things. No, you won't. And so that's why you see child stars blow their money if they do get it. It's terrible. A lot of people I know to get money, but my parents were like, this is this, and now you're getting trust fund. We're going to get a real estate agent. Look at condominiums. We're gonna what, who, the where, and it's like, this one's lovely. It's a 2-bedroom. It's got a view. I'm like, sure. So, but that was the thing. At least I knew how stuff worked. I knew what property taxes were by the time I was 18. So I had some concept, which has really done wonders for me over the last, 50 freaking years.
I know some people my age that still have no concept.
has no clue. It's hard. It's hard. And I mean, I have an accountant.
Well, that's because they keep changing the rules.
They do. And my husband, we have a lovely accountant because there's things we read them and go, yep, have no idea what that means. So, call the nice man who has a degree. But we at least know what's supposed to be there. And it's and when he explains to us, oh, it means this, and that's why we're going to do this. Oh, okay. So we can follow the bouncing ball.
Right. So I was reading something, and this is actually one of the last questions I have for you.
Okay.
As I age, things happen, but I was reading that, when I stain my shorts, you could get that out.
Actually, yeah. I can get anything out of anything. You see, weird skill amongst my many skills, stain removal. I'm not sure. My father was a big neat freak. My father was like a cuckoo Felix Unger neat freak, and he could get anything out of anything. And
I know that was a weird way to lead into it, but I thought
one man dry cleaner. But these things happen, and and so I learned, and it's like I was doing a play, and they brought over a shirt, and the guy was doing. He was so upset. He's like, "This came out of the cleaners. Look, it's completely ruined. It looks like somebody dipped it in coffee. What happened to the shirt?" And I'm like, give it to me. And I'm off in the kitchen, and he and my husband are talking, and I'm in the kitchen screwing around the sink, and I come back out with a white shirt, and he's like, what the hell? I can kind of fix a garbage disposal. I mean, it's really broken. Yeah, you have to call someone. But if it's just jammed, I can totally do the trick with the broomstick and the thing. I can generally fix a garbage disposal, and I can get anything out of anything. And it is kind of hilarious because I've had people bring me stuff going, is this ruined? I go, They go, my dry cleaner wouldn't touch it. Give me 15 minutes and I'll see what I can do.
Yep.
I'm just curious on why you said stain your shorts, not like, hey, I got blood on my favorite
I spilled cranberry juice on my shirt.
I got blood on my shirt.
It does sometimes happen, and yes, it's a long story, but I've had friends who, they weren't well, helping them out, do their laundry, and like, oh wow, yeah, so we got to fix that, do we? Well, I guess we do. So yeah, we can get that out too. In a pinch.
Oh my.
Excellent.
My.
It's a good skill. It's a very good skill. I know how to cook. I can fix garbage disposal. I can get stains out of things. Sewing. I can get buttons back on and make small repairs.
And you love old cars.
I do. I mean, right now I just have, like a 2006, but it's a Nissan. It's a lovely little car. But oh yes, I had a 1957 Ford Ranchero pickup, but it had been fiddled with. I bought it when I was like 16, really low price. It was like all red, and I immediately had it painted the old custom, the red and white colors that originally was with the fins. It wasn't the original engine. They had put in the 1965 Mustang 289 engine.
Oh.
Which I don't know a lot about cars, but I know enough to know about that one. First of all, it's a lot lighter than the enormous Ranchero original engine, and you can get at it. It's kind of called the mechanic's dream because you'd pop the hood and go, oh, it's a smaller Mustang engine.
I can stand inside next to this.
I can climb in next to the, and it's a very powerful engine. It's 1965 Mustang, one of the favorite engines of car enthusiasts. And so I kind of had like a hot rod at 16. It's like kind of insane. I had that, yeah. And what did I have? I had a 1980s enormous Mercedes, a really old used Mercedes. It was like taking my sofa for a drive down the street. It was marvelous. It's just like, I feel like it's driving a couch. I'm driving the couch. It's very, very comfortable.
The best car I ever had was an El Camino.
Oh, those are very nice. It's sort of like there's the Ranchero and there's the El Camino. It's like, do you want your fins this way or this? Which way would you like your fins?
What a nice vehicle that was. It beat my 72 Toyota Corolla.
But Toyotas, those are good too.
Yeah, but that 72 Toyota Corolla is still running somewhere in Mexico.
But I bought it for $25.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There was a Datsun 280Z and like what was that? 1980. Oh God, that was a great car. So yeah, how weird is that? Yes, I like old cars. It's kind of bizarre.
No, it's cool. I love the old cars.
And if you get grease on your clothes fixing the old car,
she can get it out.
My dad had a DeSoto.
Oh my, that's going way back.
Yeah, that went way back. He never got it running, but he did have it. It sat in the backyard. I used to have sex in the back seat.
You need a very
And there
large.
it is.
You can't do that in the Toyota. You weren't doing that in the Toyota, were you?
No, that would be on the hood.
Yeah, right. Because that's why people liked the old cars and the DeSoto enormous cars. Because if you were going to do
Big bench
you had a little
seats.
thing
Oh
covered.
yeah.
Yeah.
Love those things. Yeah.
We had a 69 Plymouth Fury 2.
Whoa.
Huge tank. This was like in the 90s. My mom found it and had very little miles on it. It was pristine condition. I absolutely loved driving that thing. Then all of a sudden one day it's in the backfield. I grew up on a small farm. My dad yanked the engine from it to put it into a plow.
Why? I bet that plow went like all hell.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah.
That was the fastest plow. Just
Yeah, that's really horsepower.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That's like the stories my father grew up on a farm in Saskatchewan, and it was completely Little House on the Prairie. He was glad I'd gotten work, but he's like, did it have to be Little House on the Prairie? Because he's like, I did this, the locusts, yes, the tornadoes.
That was my life, right?
This is my life. I've lived it. I don't need to see this. And he had stories about him and his brothers taking a bathtub and hooking up like a lawnmower engine and putting some skis on the bottom and trying to drive that down the hill, but they didn't have steering. It's just like insane crap they would do that.
Wow.
Yeah, we just sat on the old Tonka dump trucks and went down the hill.
Yeah, right in there. Yeah.
We still have the scars to prove it.
Yep.
Oh, I used to skateboard when I was very young, and back then we didn't wear helmets or wristbands or knee pads.
Nope.
And so I got a broken wrist and a big lump on my head and a skinned up knee. Because then I got hurt. Because you need to wear helmets and wristbands.
Wow.
So we are running over time here.
And we're just hanging out here shooting the breeze. We did plug things. that I'm going to be at. Simi Valley, March. Yes, it's all over the internet, as they say.
Oh yeah, we could do this all night long, but I'm sure you have other things that you have
and you're going
to
put up all the links to all of the magical
They're all
fabulous
in there.
where I'm doing. So it can
Yep.
great.
All the links to everything that Alison is involved in.
If you're in St. Louis, that's the soonest one. That's February 18th. I'm that weekend. I'm heading out there. I'm like packing like now. I'm going to be at St. Charles Convention Center outside St. Louis for the Working Women show, and it's going to be lovely. We're doing crazy things. Like I'm going to do a speech and I have my book, and then we're doing like a cooking stage, and I'm going to show everybody how to make cinnamon chicken. Little House on the Prairie.
And then she's going to have another event where they do the 50th anniversary reunion.
Huge. Yes.
And at that event, she's going to show you how.
Yep.
She's going to show you how to get your shirts clean.
You know, I really should. That might be a thing. Maybe we should set up.
It might be a thing.
I haven't done that. I've done like cooking on stage.
The new thing is, what's coming back is tie dye.
Right.
You do reverse tie dye and take the stains out.
Right. White your whiter in like a little pattern.
And so Leo, I know you have another show that you have to record later tonight, and you've been very quiet. So you were very excited about this show. So I'm sure you have at least one or two questions for our amazing guest. He's just so happy he bought a house.
I know. My wife texted me. She's on the way home. I've been getting texts all throughout the show with congratulations and but yeah, absolute honor, like talking with you tonight, even though I didn't talk that much. But I believe I met you at did you ever do Chiller Theater?
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
We chatted a little bit there, and
cool.
I talked about how my first wife used to watch your show all the time. And
now this buying a house, you make sure, this is gonna sound weird, take a nap, drink a lot of water. I was like, what? I bought a house. On lists of most stressful things in life that can like happen to you, or in some of them being good, that can cause severe stress on the body. There's like death of a parent, and then it's like buying a house. It's like, wait, buying a house is good. Then it's like getting divorced, having someone die, and you're like, wait, what? Buying a house, it's a big deal. And your nervous system goes, what are we doing? And all sorts of chemicals are released and stuff. And I remember when I read that, I went, that's crazy. And then I remember when I bought my condo when I was 18, I like had a scalp condition for a week. Like my scalp started flaking. Like, what is going on? And it was my hairdresser. She went, you're buying a house, aren't you? I was like, what? How do you, what? She knew.
Right?
So yes, you may have to moisturize your scalp.
Well, thank you for that advice.
But yes, you're going to have to make sure you get a lot of rest. Take it easy because, shockingly, even if it's the perfect house, the house you've always wanted, you got it for a steal. It's still like insanely stressful buying a house.
Yep.
Yeah,
It is. You know why? Because you got to pack up all your shit and move it.
Oh my God, moving.
Hire a moving company. It's easier.
Ben, Jeff, I thought you were going to come down and help me.
Oh yeah. You got get the.
Yeah, I'll come down and help you as long as we're not booked at an event. I mean, we're starting to book up. So
remember when we all
tell
used
you
to
what,
move
Leo.
by like calling a friend with a truck and saying, "I have beer." And that was
Yeah.
the moving plan.
I got beer and pizza here. You want to come over?
Yeah, I got beer.
Oh, where are you moving
I'll
to
do a
now?
swap with you, Leo. I'll do a swap with you. I'll come. I'll give you a day. I'll help you move. You come to my house and give me a day so that I can get out of my house for a day.
He needs a babysitter.
Yes.
Completely fair.
An adult babysitter.
An adult babysitter. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh God. But on that note, Leo, we do have to let our amazing guest get back to her real life.
I got stains to get out. Garbage disposal to fix.
She's got dinner to cook and stains to get out.
Well, we'll wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. You know me, you know how to find me. Just Google me. That's the best way. I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. Head on over to thedorkening.com to learn more. And Alison, where do you like people interacting with you on the social medias?
I'm all over the place. There's a website called bonnetheads.com, BONNETSHEAD, bonnetheads.com. I am on Facebook. I'm absolutely on Facebook. I'm Alison Arngrim. I'm on Instagram like crazy. I'm Alison Arngrim there. I'm really easy to find. I have a newsletter. If you go to the website, or you can go email to loosegravelprod@AOL.com, or you can just go on the website. There's a clicky thing. And you can get the newsletter, the Nellie newsletter. You get an email once a month. And I have a store, and it's a whole bonnet heads at Square thing, and you can find that on the website. And you can buy bonnets and autograph pictures in my book and swag and stuff.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I was just thinking you should have bought up here in New England. There was a old town that was selling like a old general store, and
I love that.
Yeah.
We may hey, the year's not out. We may all wind up coming from the show and doing an event there too.
There we go.
Right.
That'd be awesome. I would love to see you up here.
Right.
Cool.
Hang out with you. As far as
Watertown, Connecticut. end of
Watertown,
August.
Connecticut.
Last weekend in August. Yeah.
This last weekend of August. I'll
Last
take
weekend of
a
August,
ride out. Me and Ben will take a ride out.
Yeah, if we're not booked at an
Absolutely.
event.
Even if we are, I'll take a ride out.
Okay.
The fuck.
All right, sounds good to me.
You know,
All right.
Why not?
Cool.
I'm not afraid of
I
road
might have
trips.
some stains that need to be removed.
Bring your laundry. You just bring your laundry.
Bring your laundry. I was gonna go for the food.
So no, Alison, I want to thank you for joining us. It's been a ball. Don't Google me. Don't just go to stilltoken.com or Token with the Dead on Facebook. There's Instagram, there's Twitter, we're on TikTok. I don't know all the bullshit. I don't know the names, so
that's because
it is what it is. You know what I mean? But everything's on stilltoken.com. The animation is in progress. The book is out. Make sure you get a copy of the book, Token with the Dead, on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or come see us in an event. We'll actually sign it for you. I don't know why. Why would anybody want a signed copy of anything we do? I have no idea. But anyway, there you go. We'll see you next week.
Benjamin.
Yeah, pretty much what Jeff said, But for Alison, folks, it's on her website. I'm just going to say it's on her website. So go there, get off your butt, go see her at an event, at one of her stand-ups, buy her merch.
Yeah.
Have her sign it. I mean, come on, folks. 50 years. 50 years. Wow. I was a year old when it came out.
Wow. Hey, I see an animation. I see an
What?
animation coming. Little Mouse on the Ferry.
Oh, that's what everybody signed. Like my high school and junior high yearbooks all had. Everybody wrote "Little House on the Ferry," "Little Mouse on the Prairie." That's basically my yearbook page.
It should be an animated movie. Disney, where are you?
Oh no, they'll screw it up. They'll screw it up. You got to go to like, Pixar might be able to do it.
Yeah, but that's Disney.
Yeah, but it's a subclass. You can't. No, you got to get away. So, but no.
Or the Muppet
right?
Little House.
Right.
Oh,
well, now we can talk because real quick, Jeff and I are affiliated with Bill Diamond, and Bill Diamond was Jim Henson's right hand. Literally.
What? Like literally.
Literally, he worked for Jim, not for Henson Corporation.
Wow.
And he's still affiliated with them, and he's also affiliated with all those greats that you mentioned: Bela Lugosi, Vincent Price. He's actually very good friends with Price's daughter.
Oh, I met her. I met her at an event in Ohio. She's marvelous. Yes.
So, we could talk about a Muppet type thing.
Muppet,
but anyways,
that would work.
I want to say thank you to Alison for hanging out with us tonight. Like Jeff said, stilltoking.com. You can watch this again and again and again. It'll be on there tomorrow. It's also going to be on all the other platforms. The podcast will be out this Saturday for this. And yeah, to all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do so people like us can do what we do. Stay safe. We'll see you next week.
Peace.